Hi, it's Lisa Steinkoff, the houseplant guru. Today I want to talk to you about African violets. If you've been following along, you know I love African violets. So today though, I want to show you what to do when you have a plant that has suckers. So when I say suckers, that means that it has more than one crown. So like this violet, which I just bought not too long ago, has one crown. Look at all those beautiful flowers. Something I want to talk to you about real quick too is when you buy a plant that's in a cachepot, which means hide a pot, right? It's hiding the unattractive grow pot. Matches, looks pretty perfect, right? Make sure that this is not sitting in water or standing in water. I will tell you, when I bought these, I had to bring them home, and I knew that they were maybe not going to live, but I couldn't resist them. Who could resist these? Not me. And so I took them out and I set them on newspaper and paper towel. Paper towel is a little, I might have used more paper towel back in the day, but now that it's a little hard to come by, I put them on newspaper to let the water just like really draw the water out of them. And I did save them. They're doing great. I've actually had to water them since then, but I don't leave them in this. I was just showing you for display purposes, right? Examples. So these are getting ready to, I need to take some of the dead flowers off and get rid of those. But yes, just be careful that when you buy these, that they're so heavy. These were so heavy. They've been standing in water. I knew that they were waterlogged, but I thought I could save them, and I did. But it may not always work. Okay, so let's get back to suckers. So I was at African Violet. It was actually March 11th. That was right before the state of Michigan got shut down for the pandemic. Hey, by the way, shout out to L'Oreal Magic Root Cover-Up that my hairdresser told me about. Yeah, otherwise this would be really scary and pure white. So thanks, L'Oreal. Anyway, so I was at African Violet, and a lady came, and she had gone through all her violets that day and had some suckers. So what is a sucker? A sucker is just a little plant. So, and I will show you, I'm going to do a blog post about these too, so I can show you pictures from back in March when these were just little plants that she handed me, totally rootless, nothing on them, handed them to me. I brought them home. They had like 3 or 4 leaves on them, and I put them in little pots with my African Violets potting mix, and I put them in the Ziploc bag, and I closed them, and I put them under, I have a light stand, but you could put them on your windowsill, east windowsill, somewhere with light. I put them with my other African Violets. And now these were just literally, but you can see them on my blog post, literally just, she just handed them to me. No, just like 2 or 3 leaves on there, no roots. And now they're rooted. They are doing great. Yeah, 3/11/20 is when I got them. I always put a stake in my plants, so I know when I got them and where they were from and how long they've been growing. So this is a really sad plant. I've showed it to you on Instagram. It was gorgeous. You can kind of see. So see all these outside leaves? Those need to just be, ripped off, gone. And I just pull them. I just take it sideways, pull it across. Dead flowers, dead leaves. These ones still have flowers on them, but I'm still going to take them off. They're a little hardier than you think. You can just take them off. Okay, take all those big leaves off. So this plant is full of plants. It's not just one plant. So I'm going to take it out, and I am going to separate it. So what she handed me, and we have this thing, it's really a ceramic tool, Coloramics. We call it African Violet, we call it a sucker plucker. Can you see that? How it's kind of like curved like a little spoon, but it's really for making ceramics. So we take these, and so here's a little plant. This is a plant. There's a whole bunch of them in here. And I'm going to go in between, find where that is, and I'm going to scoop it off with my sucker plucker. Okay? So this is like what she handed me at African Violet Group. Look at that. There's no roots. I just took it away from this plant, and I am going to, I brought that one home. I set it on there. This is moist potting medium. I set it on there, and then I'm going to seal it in this bag and put it upstairs underneath with my other African violets. All right, but there's more, and then I'll show you what's left when we get done. Because you really just want one crown for your plant. You want your plant to put all of its energy into making those beautiful flowers. So it just needs one crown. So when I say one crown, one plant, one thing where all the growth is coming from. So here's, whoops, that just splatted me. There you go. So here's another one. Look at that. That still has a bloom stalk on it. So there's another one. So I've gotten 2. See how I kind of go in, I scoop it with this little, we call it a sucker plucker, but it's really a ceramic tool. So here's 3. This one actually still has some roots on it, so that's good. See, 3. And now this plant is back to having just one crown. Let me see. I'm going to take this bigger leaf off, this broken leaf. I take this leaf off. Oh, leaves. Okay, so now we're back down to just one crown. So out of that plant, I got 1, 2, 3, 4 plants. So I'm going to take these 2 little plants. I'm going to put them in their own little container. And him, I might even just plant him. Excuse my nose itches. I know we're not supposed to touch our face right now. Sorry, I'm all by myself. Me and Henry. Henry's out here someplace. And I'm just going to plant it back in there, and it's gonna do fine. Right? So that's what's called a sucker. And I've been saving this one too. This is a big one. Another thing that I want to tell you about is we talked about plants that are standing in water. People think that you can't get your African violets, wet. Total old wives' tale, total myth. You can get your African violets leaves wet. They grow outside in nature in Africa, and they get rained on. Now, they are growing on the sides of hills. So they're kind of on a slant. So the water's going to run out of them. So I can take these to the sink, rinse them off with warm water. That's the key. So this one that I got from the garden center, it obviously got some cold water on it. So that's what happens when you get cold water on the leaves. They do get ruined, right? Or marred. It's not ruined. So you can take them to the sink, but I don't let them, because they're growing straight up and down, I do take a paper towel and I dab out the water or soak out the water from the crown, so that it doesn't rot my crown. And I also don't put it right back in the sun or on the windowsill when I'm done, so that it doesn't, oops, I don't want to lose my little suckers, so that it doesn't burn, right? Because it can burn. So this plant is a bigger plant. This is a mini plant, like a miniature African violet or a semi-mini maybe. There's different sizes. This is a standard, so can get to be a bigger plant. So I'm going to use my handy dandy steak knife, and I'm just going to go in there carefully. Don't cut yourself like I just did. And I'm going to carefully, because they have kind of fuzzy leaves, they stick apart. I didn't bring it out here, I thought I did. Another thing too, if these get dusty and you don't want to wash them, you just get like an old paintbrush and just, like a really soft paintbrush, and just brush them off, okay? Or a baby brush, remember those baby brushes? Okay, so now here's one plant from that plant. And this is, it's a Harmony Violet, and it's called EK Gray Ocean. It gets huge. It's a Russian. It's fabulous. Huge, double grayish flower. So there's one, if you can look back on my Instagram and see it. And then there's still another one. So I'm going to go in here really carefully, try to find it. I don't want to, I'm just going to cut it. I know this seems kind of bad, doesn't it? But look. So then I'm going to try to separate really carefully. So this one still has roots. So now from this one plant, I have 1, 2, and then the original 3. So I'm going to put these back. I think I will. They're pretty big. I'll put them back into a 4-inch pot, but you could go down to this is it's probably the next size down, right? So you could see it kind of fits better in there. So you could put it in there, put all these in a smaller pot, like a 3-inch pot, until they get established. And these little tiny suckers, I just put these in these little 2-inch pots because they don't have any roots. And because they don't have any roots, that's why these ones that have roots, you don't need to put them in plastic, really, because they still have roots. You could, but you don't need to. But these little ones without roots, it's pretty imperative that you do that, because they have a lot of leaf surface and they have no roots. And if you put them in the bag, that kind of keeps the humidity up and keeps their leaves turgid and full of water, so that they're not losing as much water through transpiration, while they're growing those new roots, right? So, or you could use, if you don't want to use a plastic bag, you want to use something prettier, you could, have this cloche. I could just put it in the cloche if I wanted, and make it prettier. So, so that's what I want to talk to you about today was suckers, African violet suckers. So you don't want to let your plant sucker. They do better when they have, individual crowns like this. And when I say crown, that's like you can see the newest little leaves are in there. So that's 1 crown, 2 crowns. And then, some of these bigger leaves, if you want, like this is kind of hanging, guess what you can do with that one? You take that, you're going to cut it. I'll show you. I've cut it on a slant. So I'm going to cut it on a slant, about 1 inch long. And then I'm going to take this, I got my potting medium right here. I'm going to take that extra leaf, because when you put these things, they're kind of easy to snap. They're easily, you don't have to be horribly careful with me. I just saw them cutting them apart with a knife, right? But they do break off, and then you can take those leaves, get some moist potting medium. I mix my own soil, but you can use African violet soil. And then I use anything, you can use your sucker plucker, your pencil, whatever. Make a hole to set that kind of on a slant, and then kind of firm it in. And this can also can go in a bag, but it doesn't have to. You can use an old deli container if you have one. But just make sure you keep it moist, and it will send out new babies in probably about 6 to 8 weeks. You'll have a whole new little plant. So I've gotten 3 plants from this one plant, the EK Great Ocean. It's a Russian. And then I'm also I can get more plants because I'm growing a leaf. You just need 1 leaf to grow, as long as it's not a chimera. That's another story. We'll talk about that some other day. And then I like to put what it is. It's EK Great Ocean. Because I like to know. And if you ever want to enter them in a show, you have to know what your plant is, or they won't let you enter them. EK Great. So when you see someone call something annoyed, that means no identification. It's annoyed. It's a no in the African violet, world of trying to grow and show. They have a national convention where they have African violets that, I'm not joking, are like this big around, flowers, millions of flowers. They're beautiful. And then I'll put the date. Today is May 3rd, May 4th, May 4th. May the 4th be with you. I might not put this out till tomorrow, but there you go. Anyway, so then I know it's May 4th. It's EK Great Ocean. And then I'm going to have this plant. I'm going to plant up these. I'm going to plant up my suckers from my other plant, which I don't know what it is, so it's annoyed. And I'm going to put I'm going to put it inside. Well, I got to put more soil in it, but I'm going to put it inside this plastic bag, Ziploc it, and put it under my lights or on a windowsill. Just be careful if you put it on a windowsill that it's not getting too hot in there and burning up or baking, right? So these were just little tiny babies, suckers just like this, with no roots whatsoever, on 3/11/20. And here they are, all rooted up, probably going to start blooming and not so long from now. And that was a gift from a friend at African Violet. Thank you, Svetlana. Sorry. And, you can share these. Give them to a friend. This is a great time in this craziness that we're going through right now. Everybody could use a plant, right? So remember, if it's standing in water, keep moving, or bring it home. If it doesn't look, the plant still looks pretty good, the leaves weren't drooping or anything, bring it home, set it on some paper towels, or keep putting it on dry newspaper, and it will just suck the water out, and hopefully you can save it. I'm not one on buying plants that are really ill. I usually tell people to pass by them, but if you want to try it, these weren't that expensive, and look at that, what joy they're bringing me right now, I can tell you. So, all right, you guys have a great day. Stay home, stay safe. L'Oreal Magic Root. No one told me to say that, but I'm telling you what, it's making me look a little better than the big white stripe that I have going down the middle of my head in these days. So, you guys have a great day. Go do something with your flowers. Oh, last thing. Why is this sitting here? This little ketchup bottle. One other thing. Great to water plants. Especially little plants. You just want to go around them. You don't want to give them too much water. Voila. I think I got it at the dollar store. It's ketchup and mustard thing, or a dressing. I don't know what it is. Anyway, it works pretty good for watering plants. Okay, you guys have a great day. Thanks so much.